Morning, guys. I iced my knee. It's not broken. It's not like there's no sprain or any dislocation or anything. I just banged it when I crashed, and so it hurts. I don't know if you can see that, but like see, it's just right here. It's a little bit more swollen. And this is all fine. It's just this right here. You remember yesterday when I was talking earlier, you know, I was able to ride my bike and stuff, and then last night to try to stay off of it, iced it, and this morning it's just sore. I'm not really sure how I'm going to be able to do on the bike. I've got to get on the bike, see how I feel, and then there's, you know, I got to hop over barriers, and then there's a hike and bike uphill. You know, it's like 40 minutes for a cyclocross race, so maybe I'll just try to tough it out. But if I'm just in pain going doing it, I might end up just pulling out and trying to hope and see if I feel better for Sunday, because I can still race Sunday if I don't do Saturday. Gotta turn to my waiver, pick up my packet. I was talking to my wife. I think what I might do is just kind of feel it out. Not really plan to go hard because my knee hurts, especially when I got to get up and run.
Do you just have one bike, or do you have a pit bike today?
Just one.
It makes my life easy. So this is your packet. You will have a red kind of mountain bike style race placard number in there. That's going to go on your handlebars. That is your timing chip as well.
This is John Simmons. We are starting at 1 minute increments. Everybody's going off at different times. And we also have to keep track of our laps. So this is what somebody was asking. We're keeping track of our laps. And the guy's like, yeah, count on your fingers and your toes. So John takes off. I get ready to take off the ramp. I'm gonna do my best to explain what's going on. So time starts once you hit the finish start line. And then the ground is kind of bumpy, and it's got, because it was recently trimmed, there's grass, so it's a little bit slippery. It's dry. And the knobby tires that I put on, you saw that for the last time. Oh, here are the barriers. I made it over the barriers almost every single time pretty well, and then hopped on the bike here. It was easier to do that than doing it through the corner. But back to these corners, this was my first run. I got faster as I went along because I got more comfortable coming through the corners. And I guess when I started, I hadn't actually done a run on the knobbier tires, and I started realizing, wow, I have a lot more grip. I can go faster through these corners. So I started to get more confidence as I went on. As I when I finished the race, I realized that I could have gone faster. Like, I mean, you're pedaling really hard, and then you're coasting a little bit through these corners, and then you push. And I realized I could have pushed harder because you have these opportunities of recovery through these corners where you're not really pedaling, and then you have these tight little hairpins that happen throughout the course. So you're noticing, even though I'm cutting this up and I'm, you know, cutting out some of the straightaway bits, I mean, the corners come quick and fast. So it really is like a sprint out of these corners. And I kind of did it, but at the same time, I'm thinking this is a 45-minute race. I really don't know how hard to go. You can't really look at your power because there's so many turns and corners. So it's a lot of it is, for me, was going by feel. Trying to find the right lines and not slip on the grass. This would come up on this little gravel section here. Here's some footage from my wife. It's a little bit of a rise that would come up, and it was wide, so there's an opportunity to really lay on the power. So one of the things I was doing is when I'd hit these straightaways, I'd really push in to get on some of the power. In this clip, I actually hit that little soft spot. I did it once. All the other laps, I came out wide and got away from that soft spot. So it just kind of kicks your back end a little bit. The other thing that I learned from the pre-ride is I had to hit this section really hard, hit it really hard and fast, and not slow down. And the place to get off the bike wasn't here. It was off camber, and it was just odd, and I tried it in the pre-ride and it didn't work very well. It was clumsy. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little ledge at the Clifton Races sign. And then I would just run up the hill, and this was just chunky, and it was slippery, and it was off camber. And so I just ended up running the bike through that section. It seemed like it was just as fast as riding it because it was hard to ride that section. Some of the guys like Lars, who are really great bike handlers, were able to, here's me passing John, were able to ride that section probably faster than we ran it. I don't have those skills. This was a little bit of like an up section where you kind of climbed and then it would dip down really quick. And this was where my lack of skills, I would like be scrubbing the brakes and then you'd have to switch really quick, switch your gears because you got to get up this super steep section and then come around. And then you would have to switch going back down. And I could have, with practice, have gone so much faster. And then this is off camber, so you feel like you're gonna slip and you're gonna fall off. I never did, so I was always scrubbing my brakes. And that's just me not used to, doing this type of race where you could slip off, you could fall. Another tight corner and avoid the cow poop. There was cows on the course and they were trying to chase them off and not bother the riders, but we had cows on the course. So again, another quick little piece. So you can see like the ground isn't necessarily level, so which was also a new experience for me. And then it would open up into this straightaway. And it was tough to hit this section, that last corner, really quick because it was actually slippery through the corner. And this was pretty much the first lap going through. If you remember, I said that we had to keep track of our laps. I lost track of how many laps I did. I wasn't sure if I had done 4 or 5. And I did pass quite a few people. I got passed by one guy who was really quick and I was able to stay with him for a little bit, but then through the corners he would just make up so much time because he could do them so much better than I could. Yeah, so I lost track of how many laps I was doing and I ended up doing 6. I wasn't sure if it was the 5th lap or not, and so I was like, well, I'm just gonna do one more. So I did one more. You can see here I got the line a little bit better. It didn't hit that soft spot. And so this is the interesting thing about cyclocross is it's not just the right line, but making sure you don't go into the cow poo and you don't hit any slippery spots, punching out of corners. I had an absolute blast. I had so much fun. I definitely will be doing this again. And I learned a lot. I learned that I can go so much harder because I have all these little recovery bits. The running up the hill, not used to running at all, especially like when you hit something really hard like that. Here's a great picture by Jeff. Cyclocross was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun in thinking about where you're gonna hop off the bike, making sure that before you hit the barriers, I would make the gear easier, slow down just enough so that I could get off of the bike because I obviously can't run at like 15 miles an hour, and just try to get that speed right and then hop back on, thinking through where I was gonna get on and off based on the terrain. Absolute blast. Hey guys, so finished the race. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna have to do more cyclocross races. Jen is posting the results. I'm really curious where I placed. It felt pretty good. I think I'm gonna do more cyclocross. Just gotta get better at bike handling on a cyclocross course and learn how to ride it. All right guys, so 7th. I think it was 12 seconds down on the guy who placed 6th and a few more seconds on the guy who placed 5th. So not bad for my first cyclocross race. Like I was saying, I got to get better at technical stuff. I was comfortable like fitness wise and I can go so much harder. I just didn't have the confidence to do it or the skills. So it was a lot of fun though, thinking through all the little things of how you go through each section. So tomorrow is the XC course, that area where I crashed. I will be walking those descents or as much as possible. Hopefully my knee is better. After about the 3rd pass running up this hill, I was pretty much walking up the climbs. It didn't feel good on my knee. I mean, it wasn't like I was in pain, it just wasn't comfortable. All right, so I got washed up and now the boys and I are gonna go do some fishing. We're going to one of the state parks out by Clear Lake. The boys want to catch something and they're excited about not having to do catch and release.
and hopefully bring something home to cook.
I might catch my very own fish without having to release it.
You've been talking about this for a while. What do you think?
I'm excited.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's going on with your hair?
I don't know.
What's going on with your hair, dude? So we've arrived at, what's the name of the state park? We've arrived at Clear Lake State Park.
Boys and I are not the greatest fishermen. We do fish a bit. We're not like the super proficient fishermen, but we do okay, and the boys enjoy eating fish. We are trying to find a place to go set up, and we keep running into people, so we just kind of end up farther and then going through like this thick brush. But eventually we did find a good place to go out and put our lines out.
What you doing, Ashton Cole?
I'm just doing
What you got on your hook?
not fish.
Good job. So we've tried a couple of things. We've tried 2 different types of jigs, fake worm, and no bites. Nothing's biting. There's people fishing all over this little peninsula, but I don't see anybody getting anything. So we're gonna go to this other spot and try our luck over there. It started raining. We were gonna walk out to this other area, and we're like, it started raining, and we had to climb over like these big rocks. We're like, we don't want to climb over these rocks. It starts getting all wet.
It would be slippery and we would fall.
So much for that fishing expedition. We're gonna try fishing tomorrow after the race, before we go home. The good news about this little bit of rain is it'll help pack down the trail a little bit, because the trail, as you've heard me say like 1,000 times, it's just so gravelly, shifty, and slippery. So hopefully this helps tomorrow.